case you've been living under a rock, the S25 Ultra will be here in a week, the successor to the S24 Ultra, and there's going to be a couple noticeable upgrades, which I'm going to talk about in this video that we know for certain. And if you're interested in getting one, make sure you reserve your pre-order. I've got an affiliate link in the description. Put in your first name, last name, email, and you can lock in your $50 in ecosystem credit, enter to win $5,000 sweepstakes, and up to $1,250 in savings. That doesn't mean it's going to be $1,250 off, and I'm going to talk about that too. So, the S24 Ultra has been a pretty darn good phone, and it looks like we're going to get the same 200 megapixel camera, Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, which is going to be an upgrade, and likely we're going to have 16 gigs of RAM, at least in the higher end storage models. I've been seeing some stuff that indicates that there will be a 12256 model, but here's the thing that you'll probably see, because when the pre-orders start, they talk about $1,250 of savings. That doesn't mean they're giving you $1,250 for the S24 Ultra. My hope is they'll give us about $850. That would be really nice. If they give us $900, that'd be really cool, because likely the price will be $1,299. I don't think we'll see a price increase. If we see a price increase, that's going to hurt sales for Samsung. They already increased the price this last year, so I fully expect that we won't see that. If we do, it would be a shock, because we haven't had a $1,399 Ultra since the S21 Ultra, and I think that was just a bit too expensive. So the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor is pretty fantastic. I've tested it out in quite a few phones already. There are noticeable improvements. It's better on battery life. It's basically 40% better across the board. 40% better power efficiency, 40% better battery life, 40% better hardware-based ray tracing, 40% better AI performance, and all that stuff is going to culminate, I think, in an overall better experience, because one of the things we've had an issue with the S24 Ultra is the inconsistency in the 200 megapixel camera, which they seem that they want to go with this again. And if they do, the new image signal processor plus the AI improvements in the chip should make for better quality photos, hopefully faster quality photos, and give us better nighttime shots, which is one of the complaints. So I'm expecting to see that. There's rumors abounding talking about how the S Pen might not have Bluetooth functionality anymore. I kind of have mixed feelings on that. If it shows up with no Bluetooth support, I think that's a loss. I think that's not a good thing. But maybe they have some other technology that they're going to use, and people are just noting that it's not Bluetooth. There's rumor that it might have MagSafe built in, which would be interesting if that happens. We'll have to wait and see if that happens, but supposedly people seem to think if it has MagSafe built in, then the magnets will interfere with the Bluetooth in the S Pen. I don't know. I don't know that much about magnets and Bluetooth and all that stuff, but we'll see what happens. I just don't see them taking away the functionality unless maybe they did some research and said people just don't use those functions. And I don't know. Sound off in the comments. I'm curious. I want to get some feedback on this. The S Pen, as it's been for years, has the air gestures. You can do a little twirling and page flipping and all that stuff, which I never do, so I don't care about that. But the big thing I care about is the remote shutter functionality. So what you can do with your phone is you can press and hold on the S Pen, activate the camera. You can press the button to take a picture. You can double press it to flip it around the other side, or a video. You can start that. And I think that that's a pretty cool feature, and there's some other features that go along with it too. But I would be surprised if that goes away. And it's supposed to be slightly brighter, which, I mean, the phone's bright enough already. I don't get too down in the weeds into this whole nits war thing. Is it 2,700 nits, 26? Is it 3,000? Is it 4,500? That's peak brightness anyway. And like when they talk about these ones that are over 4,000 nits brightness, it's only on like certain areas of the screen. It's not necessarily the entire screen illuminated at 4,500 nits, at least to my understanding. And it's got to be on auto brightness. You got to be out in the sun where it kicks up really bright. And all these ones, since we've moved into this post 2,000 nits brightness world, seem pretty well bright enough for me. So I don't think that's a big deal. Also, there's some rumors saying that DeX might go away. I don't foresee that happening at all, and I'm pretty certain it's there already with One UI 7 in the beta. I haven't tested it out personally, but I don't think that that's going to go away. But it will be interesting to see what exactly comes in the package. I mean, we know it's going to be IP68. I don't think it'll be IP69, which that's been pretty cool with the OnePlus. Like the OnePlus 13 has IP69. A couple other phones have it. And that IP69, you still get the IP68. It'll be like IP6869. That means that you can drop it up to 1.5 meters of water for up to 30 minutes. That's the IP68. 69 gives you temperature resistance and also pressure resistance from like multiple different angles for a certain period of time. I tested out the OnePlus 13. It was pretty neat because their little setup, you could put it in a washing machine, like a dishwasher or a washing machine. And for most standard ones, it would come out of it okay. And I got some mixed bag in the comments. Some people are like, why do we need this? This is stupid. Well, I might think that too if one of my kids didn't have their tablet in their dirty laundry basket one time and then somebody put some clothes on top of it and it got dumped in the washing machine and then it never worked again. So if something could survive that, I would be totally happy if they throw that in there, right? I think we're probably still going to get 45-watt charging, and at least in the Ultra model, the S25 is probably going to be 25 watts again. I think Samsung's pretty well stuck with this until they start doing something, maybe incorporate some of the silicon stuff into the battery to get even better battery life or the newer battery technology. I don't really see too much of a change in that department. And I don't think it's the end of the world, but I do get kind of spoiled with OnePlus with like 80-watt charging where you can completely recharge your phone in, let's say, 30, 40 minutes. That's pretty nice. And of course, OnePlus has like 50-watt wireless charging. Maybe we'll get 25-watt. That's word on the street, but it'll probably be 15, 20 again. We'll see how that works out. There's certainties, right? We know we're going to get the Snapdragon 8 Elite. We know it's probably going to be UFS 4, probably going to be 12, 16 gigs of RAM, baseline 256 storage, all that crazy stuff. But the fine-tooth details and what they do, they always have something up their sleeve, and we're also waiting to see what new advent of AI that we get. Of course, Bixby is supposed to be greatly upgraded too, kind of like what Apple is doing with Siri 2.0, which Siri's still stupid. Like, it's dumb. It's useless to me almost. So, mostly how Bixby's been. So, if we get meaningful updates in the Bixby department, that could be the first step launch to this virtual assistant that it's supposed to use the large language models, LLMs, have contextual awareness, and all those different things, possibly generative AI capabilities. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And I'm curious what extra AI features we'll get, because a lot of the AI features actually come from Google. And if you remember the keynote last year for the S24 Ultra, they announced and said, oh, we get circle to search on the new S24 Ultra series phones or S24 series phones. And then immediately at the same time during the keynote, Google puts out a tweet saying, oh, also we're getting it on the same day. So it's actually a Google feature that incorporated into Samsung with their AI, with Galaxy AI. And it'll also be interesting to see which backward compatibility features we're going to get. If you remember, when the S24 Ultra came out, it had some cool new AI stuff. And then very quickly after that, the S23 got it, the S22 got it, like the S20, I think the S21 FE got a few maybe. If I remember correctly, I know the S23 FE did, and it was pretty widely disseminated, and they're way ahead of the power curve, especially when you look at their big competitor, which is Apple. Apple's doing a terrible job with their AI implementation. They're way far behind, a year or two behind, and it'll be interesting to see if Samsung makes a big leap in this area. I think that that would be cool. And I also want to talk about briefly, because I mentioned this earlier, the $1,250 in savings. So largely what happens is, whenever we have the pre-orders, one of the reasons it's good to pre-order from Samsung, they have the best trade-in deals. They give you freebies like, yes, there might be a baseline 256 12-gigabyte model, but they'll give you the 512 16 gig for free. And that's been the case like the last 2 years in a row, and that's what I've got, the 512 16 gigabyte. They have exclusive colors, which is also nice. They'll have discounts on Samsung Galaxy Care. Usually that's like 33% off or something like that. And they'll have other discounts that you can apply towards if you combine a watch or the earbuds or something with it. And the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, very good. The Galaxy Watch Ultra, fantastic. I love that watch. It's really good too. So they'll usually have it also towards like a tablet. If you want to get the latest tablet, they'll have discounts if you bundle that stuff together. So it'll be interesting. And of course, you got the Galaxy Book 5 Pro as well. Those got shown off at CES. So I'm expecting a pretty big launch. And there's even word on the street that maybe we'll see the Galaxy Ring 2, but it'll probably be a likely later launch because that's what happened last year. They showed it off in the spring, and then it came out in the summer when the Fold and the Flip came out. And we're supposed to be supposedly seeing 4 different phones, which would be the S25 Plus Ultra and likely the S25 Slim, which maybe that'll be a nice alternative. Maybe it has some newer technology. We're going to have to wait and see on that one. I'm very interested in it because I don't like the big, gigantic phones. I love the Pixel 9 Pro. That was fantastic. Maybe this will be kind of an alternative and get them into that space where they can compete directly in the smaller form factor. You don't have to get the big gigantic one. Maybe you don't want the S Pen anyway, and it's kind of in line with what we get with the Pixel 9 Pro or with the iPhone 16 Pro. I really like those Pro Series phones that don't have the hardware compromises but have the smaller form factor, and I know a lot of you guys and gals do too. So that's pretty much it. Save the date, 22nd of January. Again, make sure you reserve your pre-order if you want to get that. There's no commitment. You don't have to put in your debit card information, your social, driver's license, your firstborn's middle name. It's just a way of showing your interest, and if you do, you get $50 free to put towards something. And that's nice because we know they don't come with chargers. So if you want to put it towards a charger, if you want to put it towards some earbuds, a lot of times they'll be on sale already. If you get a phone for like 89 bucks and use the $50 credit that way, get a case, screen protector, whatever. So that's why I always encourage people to do it. Not telling you to go buy anything, but if you want to lock in your potential savings and your freebies, then, well, why not, right? Because if you don't buy it, then it doesn't matter anyway. But if you do, then you get the 50 bucks. And they also have the exclusive colors that you can only get through Samsung. The big question mark is the Samsung financing this year, because they've financed through TD Bank for the last couple of years. I had Samsung financing for years that I bought phones with, but that's gone the way of the dodo, at least through TD Bank. We know that Affirm is still going to be there, at least we believe it will be. And I don't know if they found a new financing partner, but who knows? But they're still supposed to be offering 0% interest in some way, shape, or form. And of course, it's also nice if you want to get it through your carrier, you can get carrier models through them as well and still get all those cool savings and stuff. You don't have to miss out on that. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, go to the comment section and we'll try and get back to you as best as I can. If you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more Samsung stuff, stay tuned. Hit the like, the subscribe, notification bell, all those things. I will be extensively covering them. I will be there at the Samsung Impact event. So if there's anything that you're curious about that you'd like me to address on day one as I am able to get my hands on one of these things, sound off in the comment section. Let me know. I'll try and do my best to address that stuff as I make my videos and review and stuff like that. So that's all I've got. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.